We're coming up on 3:30 here on a Thursday afternoon. I'm Jane Monreal. You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. So this morning, big news out of Minnesota, where borders are. Tom Homan announced that the immigration enforcement crackdown is ending. Political reporter Danny Spewak, Danny, at our news partner, KARE 11 in Minneapolis, joining us now. Danny, thanks for making the time this afternoon. So busy, I'm sure, with the coverage. What's the immediate reaction once the decision and this announcement was made?
Well, we were with the governor this morning, Governor Walz, at his press conference, and he used the term, cautiously optimistic, said he was skeptically optimistic, something along those lines. Many of the Democratic leaders in Minnesota don't quite trust the Trump administration's intentions, although the governor said he believes there's no, that there's no reason to think that there won't be a drawdown, that the federal agents won't leave Minnesota. But there's really a breakdown in trust between the federal government and the state government and the local governments as well. And so while it's welcome news for many people in Minnesota to hear that this Operation Metro Surge is supposedly ending, there is kind of that lingering question as to whether it really is ending and what it's going to look like in the next couple of weeks. Because just yesterday there was a crash involving a federal agent in a busy neighborhood pretty close to the state capitol. And so there is still some concerns about what the next couple days, weeks will look like.
Yeah, so sort of a wait and see, and if this is a true end to any kind of crackdown. So after following, these protests now for the last few weeks, what are you hearing from families before this morning's announcement and other community groups?
I think there's a lot of relief because, whether or not people believe that the drawdown will fully occur, I think there's a sense of relief. And there has been less activity in the last couple of weeks. I think the arrival of border czar Tom Homan did seem to make the situation a little bit better in terms of that he was having direct dialogue with the local and state leaders. And I think even the leaders in Minnesota, despite being opposed to the Trump administration, I think they would acknowledge that the tone really changed for everybody once Tom Homan arrived here, regardless of what somebody thinks about his policies or the Trump administration's policies. And so I think a lot of people in the community are hoping that there is going to be a light at the end of the tunnel here, and things have seemed to calm down a little bit in the last couple of weeks.
And how about trust? It's going to take a while to gain trust and to build that trust. What does that look like?
Definitely, and it's going to be a huge topic of discussion moving forward, just about how to deal with future immigration enforcement in the state. Our state legislative session at the Capitol starts on Tuesday, and so there are going to be bills from Democrats and Republicans that are kind of dealing with the fallout of all of this. And so I think it's going to really just kind of take center stage for a long time here, and then all the way into the 2026 elections, where we have every state legislator, governor, every executive office on the ballot, and then you also have, of course, midterms with Congress and everything. And so it's a long way until then, but I do think you're right with the trust. When it comes to the federal government, they do have to earn back some trust in Minnesota, and the poll numbers show that most Minnesotans oppose what the federal government did here. And so I think the Trump administration is recognizing that and is trying to take some corrective action.
Yeah, for everyday Minnesotans who may not even have been directly targeted or involved in any protests, what's the perception then about any, safety or the perception from federal government?
It's interesting because just anecdotally, in the Twin Cities, you can really tell, in many neighborhoods, people aren't going to restaurants. The grocery stores are a lot emptier. Now, it didn't help when it was like negative 20 degrees. But even now the weather's warmer. There's apprehension. You can't deny it. There's apprehension from people to go out, workers that are staying home. So a lot of places are understaffed. It reminds a lot of people of COVID. So the governor actually proposed some emergency funding for small businesses. It has taken a huge hit to daily life here, and I think people are starting to emerge from it a little bit. But the polling, actually, KARE 11 and NBC just did a poll about public opinion, and it was pretty emphatic. It was pretty emphatic that about 2/3 of Minnesotans felt that ICE had gone too far in the state. And so obviously you have a base of people who believe federal immigration enforcement should be followed, and the Trump administration did everything that they could. And certainly you're going to have that base of voters that believes that. But by and large, independents are largely feeling like this went too far. And that's been the big change, I think.
And from your vantage point, Danny, in Minnesota, cities like ours and Charlotte, where we had that brief spell with Border Patrol agents coming into the Queen City here, watching from afar, what should we learn from what happened there?
The governor has said that he believes this is a playbook for other states. Now, of course, I think the Trump administration would disagree with that. But I do think that it's going to be really interesting to watch. We have our legislative session here in Minnesota, but I think whether it's in North Carolina, whether it's in any state, that I think you're going to see a lot of state proposals related to limiting ICE activity. You're probably going to see a lot at the congressional level, even though Republicans control Congress, obviously. I think this is just going to be a topic of conversation about, like, how does a city handle this if there is a surge somewhere, and what does that cooperation look like? Because actually, according to our poll, we also found that most Minnesotans support local police working with federal immigration authorities. So there is that support maybe for some in the public that believe there should be more cooperation, which is what you often hear from Republicans in the Trump administration. So that could be a topic moving forward as well.
All right, good point. Danny Spewak, at our content partner in Minneapolis at KARE 11, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.